hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Give me 1 second. I'm still setting up, and we're going to try to get this working because there we go. I think that should work. There we go. Okay, sweet. I needed to make sure because I changed my setup. It's been a long time since I have gone on a live stream. I need to make sure that I could see all of my tech stuff and that we can make sure the mic's working, that I can also get to the chat, and that I can switch over here. And let's go ahead and let me move some stuff so that way I can get to the game for you guys quickly. I just shared this out on social media, so we'll see if people start to trickle in now that we're live. Welcome, Zell Dude. Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. And ignore if the lights get bad, I can grab a light to click on. Let me know how the audio is. The microphone should be loud enough. It looks like there's no music yet. And to be honest, we're not going to have background music on the dev. It's just going to have some sound effects, I think. So shouldn't be too bad. My headphones have messed my hair up. But welcome to the stream, guys. Sweet. Yeah, getting some messages there. Yeah, if you guys checked out my YouTube video I just posted this morning, this stream is kind of like a continuation of that YouTube video. But if you did not watch it, that's fine. You can hang out in the live stream and you can check out that video later. In essence, basically, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the game industry and the market. Oh man, what's up, my guy? Welcome to the stream. I've missed you dearly. And PLP says you got Lego hair again. Yeah, my hair got really long recently. I was going to film a video with my big beard. I had a giant beard. I just shaved it off like 2 days ago. So yeah, a little bit of cleaning up before we get onto the live stream. But in case you guys didn't see the video, basically the sales and all sorts of stuff have been going like extremely poorly. And I'm changing my entire strategy and talking to a bunch of devs behind the scenes. I got to put out some new videos coming up this week that really talk into this. I'm gonna really dive into the data of this kind of stuff. But the small game strategy is no longer viable. It doesn't really work, and it's actually probably making things worse overall for the industry with too many games releasing, too many games coming out. So I'm kind of switching around in the last couple of months. This is a Hail Mary last ditch effort type of thing. We're going to be focusing all in on one major game, and that major game is going to be PitterPot Cursed Thicket. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of levels today. I have a 35-minute devlog for this already recorded, and I've already started devlog number 2. So originally, what I was going to be doing was announcing this game and then dumping all these devlogs out. But see, that's just not going to work anymore. I've got to go back to my old school methods of, just go ahead and announcing the game, doing a bunch of live streams on it, doing a bunch of devlogs, marketing it for months, building up those wish lists, that kind of thing. So I'm going to get the store page up for PitterPot pretty soon, even though it's not where I want it to be like shown off in a big trailer and like PR and stuff. But it doesn't really matter, like I said in my other video, because only, you guys, the fans, are going to see it. Like the streamers and stuff that I'm going to send it to, like they're not going to see it yet. So if it's like in a non-release state, that's okay. And most likely what we're just going to be doing is like building hype and getting more of the TreeFall audience aware that this exists. That's what we're going to be doing. B-Train Studio says, no, welcome to the stream, man. I will love to catch up with you soon. And POB says, I've been telling you, you got to make a roguelike. Those are what's in. Yeah, I want to do that, but like I just don't have the time and don't have the money to sink into that project. So let me actually, give me 1 sec. I'm going to go grab a different set of headphones. I'm going to see if my little earbuds work, and then we'll get right into the game. One sec. I'm just going to switch off earbuds. Alrighty, so now I can be able to hear myself a little bit better. These headphones are really nice, but they're like super noise canceling, so I'm talking really too loud, I think. Let me know how the audio sounds, and we're going to get moving into the game. So, if you saw the video, there are some small games we're going to be releasing. We're going to be releasing another word search game, a Night Detective port, and there's going to be the Orb Touch game, which is going to be really cool. And the tilting tiles is a big deal. Like tilting tiles used to sell pretty well, but the last couple ones not as much. And the maze used to sell really, really well, but like I said, the last one still not as much. So I mean, those are going to be important, but really I'm going to focus all in on PitterPot because this game is going to have something for everybody. I'm doing a bunch of different things where see if I do this, I'm going to be looking, when I play the game, I'm going to be looking at this. I don't know if I can do this live, though. I might need to switch my stuff around. Give me 1 second. I'm going to switch to my... Oh, actually, this will be fine. This will be fine. Let's put this over here. I'm going to switch my setup around really quickly while you guys can only see my face. And then we'll get ready to jump into the game. And I lost my train of thought on what I was saying. So what I need to do is... You'll be on an infinite loop if I switch... So I do have to do this really fast. I should have thought of this beforehand. So this is what it's going to look like. Obviously, I'm going to shrink the camera and put PitterPot over here. You guys can see this is a brand new level. But what I'm going to need to do is, I think I have, yeah. Let's get rid of this. And then let's put this over here. Sorry about this. I haven't streamed in like a year, so it's a little slow to get started. There we go. And then now I should be able to do this. Let's see. Oh, it's because the PS4 is in the way. Perfect. Okay. All right. Now I can look at you guys at the camera and see PitterPot. So that should do it. All right. So what I was saying was, before I interrupted myself to make sure you guys had a better streaming experience, is we're releasing some new games. We're releasing, a word search game, which they've been selling like really well. So hopefully you guys really enjoy the new word search game. I was going to put that out in November, but it's already done and it already made it through testing. So I'm just going to move that up and release that in October. So that'll be a game for next month. And then I'm going to put this in November. And the goal is to like do these live streams. I'm probably just going to start the dev live streams back up and do it every Wednesday. I'm going to try to get the PlayStation Store page up for this game, like maybe tonight or tomorrow or something like that. And then so going forward, all of the Wednesday live streams, we will be... Okay, got the chat in the right spot. We will be posting this on Wednesdays. You can join along with me as we make some levels. And I'll probably be posting devlogs on Mondays or Fridays. And then like game dev, like industry talk videos, like on the opposite of Monday or Friday. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. PLP says, is this the same game you used to stream on dev like 2 years ago? Kind of. It morphed from that to this. And... yeah, it's pretty much brand new, actually. But yeah, I've got a giant devlog to show you guys that really goes deep into this. But basically, to like give you a quick rundown, this is like Sonic the Hedgehog. Or like I know for PLP and the indie fans in the audience, this is kind of like Tori 3D. So it's like the idea of this spinoff specifically is that there are ranks So like when I say like Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm kind of copying Sonic a little bit, like that flow. But I've kind of got a complex. I'll show you guys how it works. I'll run through the level and show you. But basically, there's a scoring system and a ranking system where you can get like a D, a C, a B, an A, or an S ranking based on your score on the level. So this game is, has endless replayability because you can go for high scores over and over and over. And actually, one of the things that's going to be setting this game apart compared to all of our other games is we're actually going to be doing, I'm crossing my fingers on this. I'm pretty sure that I've got this figured out, but in case it has to get cut, just a caveat there. But right now, what we're planning on doing is doing online leaderboards on the PlayStation. So not only are you going to have local leaderboards, you're going to have high scores. You can be able to replay the levels for high scores. You're going to be able to compete with other people online and see all of their scores and stuff. So it's going to just add like a whole new level to the game. I'm trying to reach out for people to be able to like enjoy this, like this game. Like the marketing tagline, I'm going to be doing like a TV commercial for this. The marketing tagline for this game is there's something for everybody. So like basically all the main levels, they're not going to be extremely difficult. I showed this to some testers yesterday, and they do think it's more difficult than I think it is. I think you guys won't think it's that hard. But so like the mainline games and the main story and the boss level and all that stuff, it's going to be like a 3D platforming adventure game, accessible for everyone. But if you beat all of the levels with an S ranking, you're going to unlock extremely difficult levels. So like there's going to be the hard challenge levels for people who want to do a hard challenge in a 3D platforming game. There's going to be a regular 3D platforming game with, for people who just want an adventure, who want to play something like Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, whatever. You're going to go through this and be able to play an adventure, meet new characters, get collectibles, beat levels, see new things, all of that kind of stuff. It's going to be there. There's going to be online competition, and there's going to be replaying for scores. So there's going to be replayability. That's going to be there. The competition is going to be there. And I'm actually working on, since, not that many people are going to watch this, but don't hold me to this. I'm trying to do a local multiplayer mode as well, and it's kind of getting fleshed out. It just depends on, if it's going to be like kind of like, the Mario thing where it's like you kind of have a second player to like help out the main player, like kind of like kid-friendly mode, or if there's going to be like an actual competition mode where, you can run through with another player and like compete against each other locally. I'm kind of working on that as well. So there's like a whole lot of things that are going to be going into this game. I'll just go ahead and show you this level. We'll run through it. The Metal Wolf says, is this a third-person game? Yeah, it's a 3D platforming game. So I'm just going to be showing, you can see this. We're going to be doing dev. We're going to be working on a level for just a little bit in the game engine. So we're just going to be playing this in the engine. We're not playing this on the dev kit for the PlayStation. This game is PlayStation exclusive. Once again, I mentioned in the video that we're going to be doing a few games on Steam, but really 3D platforming games don't sell very well on Steam. And PitterPot has only ever come out on PlayStation, and I'm working on kind of like a brand synonymous deal with PlayStation, going forward. And to be honest, it's like most of the platforming stuff that's in this game is inspired by actual PlayStation platformers, not from Nintendo platformers anyways. So, and Nintendo hates me, so it doesn't really matter. We're not releasing a game. We're not releasing a game on the Switch. So those are the only places a platformer would sell, is the Switch, the PlayStation, and Steam's not really a big thing. So we'll just go ahead and jump in here. It should be on maximize. I might be able to maximize it, make it bigger. It's going to take a second to load because the levels are pretty big. My computer's kind of slow, and now I'm running the stream and Unity at the same time. We got to make sure we don't crash. You got to be careful. I might need to close Discord. We might be running too many things. Let's close this. Yeah, I'm like, oh gosh, guys, if we just crash the stream, just trying to play, like, oh, that's not good. All right, so let's jump in. Okay, yeah, there we go. I kind of need to I'll get that FPS timer off because that's not going to be accurate anyways. But actually, well, we'll leave it on. We'll leave it on so we don't have to load again. So if you can see the way that this game starts off, there's a cool little animation that flies across the screen, and it has start, and then at a certain point across the start you will be able to control the character, and then you'll be able to run through the level. And you notice that you can be able to control the character because the timer in the top corner starts firing off. So there's a timer in this game, kind of like, Sonic or Tori, like I mentioned earlier. And basically, your scores on these levels are going to be calculated based on your time, based on your collectibles, and based on your damage taken. So there are like three major things that contribute to your score. So when you go through a run of a level, your score can vary wildly depending on if you got all of the items, you get a certain bonus. If you get no damage, you get a certain bonus. So you could maybe have like taken extra time, let's say, to get all the items, to get the item bonus, and you are losing your time bonus score basically, but then you take a hit right at the end and you lose your damage bonus. Well, then maybe your score might not be as good as if you were just going super fast. So there's going to be a lot of ways to try to maximize your score, but basically to get the top tier score, obviously, it would be to beat the level as fast as possible, collecting all items and taking no damage, which is going to be extremely difficult for most players. So like when you get to the online leaderboards, those top tier scores are really going to be like who can do the level perfectly and do it as quickly as possible. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into your score, and there's a lot of things that go into the ranking. So PLP says, is this coming to the Atari VCS? No, we're not releasing any more games on the Atari VCS ever. If you didn't catch my video about Atari VCS development being dead, that's another thing that's factoring into this. They're virtually, they say that they've changed, like, this was publicly announced, and devs were talking about it publicly on YouTube, so that's the only reason why I'll mention it publicly, because I don't know what's covered under NDA or not, but they basically pay people monthly, and then they changed the rule to where like they were no longer going to pay you monthly, but they were going to pay you every 6 months. And to me, that is crazy. No platform holder does that. So basically, like if you released a game in January, you wouldn't be paid until July, so you would be paid 7 months after the fact. To me, that screams like they're not going to exist much longer. Like you just don't do that out of a whim. You're either doing that because A, like you don't have the staff to actually handle it, or B, like you need the money for some reason. I don't know. I assume that they have money and they're fine. People were Atari developers were making fun of me for making those assumptions, but really it just doesn't make any sense. If it's the staff issue, then it's like they're not really running it effectively as it is. So I just decided like, hey, like I work full time. I have a family to support. I can't be waiting so long to get paid, especially when it's like a very, very small percentage of our income anyways. That's not where my time is best focused anymore. They changed it to where I think they're going to do quarterly maybe or something like that. So every 3 to 4 months you're going to get paid. But I mean, you guys can't really see this, and I don't want to really mention it. I was going to share this. Whoa, I knocked off my headphones. I was going to share this publicly, but then I realized that the developer Discord is actually private. So it's like private. So some of the stuff that they're talking about, I guess it might be private. So I'm just not going to mention anything on Atari VCS. And at this point, I'm just not going to talk about them at all. I don't have any hate towards them. I don't have any ill will towards them. They're just not really managing their dev platform effectively. And it's not a place for people to be able to release games and be able to, actually make money and like make serious money to where like you're going to stay in business. And, if you saw my video just before, it's very hard to stay in business now. Sales are way down. So we're done with the VCS. This is going to be PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 exclusive. This is going to be one of the last PS4 games as well to mention. We're not going to be releasing PS4 games anymore. Soon we're going to be going in on just PlayStation 5 development, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But we have a couple more PS4 games coming out, and that's all I'll say on that for now. So anyways, we'll get started on PitterPot. There's so many things I could say about this. It's crazy. I mentioned all this in the devlog, but if you watch this, I guess you don't have to watch that first devlog. I'm sure there's some things that in there that'll surprise you guys. But yeah, so I cleaned up these seed crates. PO says, I'm not getting a time bonus. I'm not getting the time bonus, that is for sure. So the seed crates actually have better what do you call it? Particle effects. The particles do a little bit better. They bounce off the world better than they used to. And right here, this is a brand new collectible for this game. This is a pot, a metal vase. It looks like Spyro, and it's inspired by the metal vases in Spyro, but it actually functions like something else in Spyro, to be honest. It functions like the chests in Spyro, where you breathe the flames on them and they shoot the gem out, and you have to jump over it in order to catch the gem. What you have to do is you have to watch this, guys. This is one of the coolest thing ever. This game is going to be just so top tier. So when you smack it with your vine, the pot actually spins around and the seed jumps up and flies out. And you could do this infinitely. And then whenever you jump up and grab the seed, it will get rid of the seed. And then when you hit it again, you can still hit it again and the pot will just spin. And you can also see we got clouds reflecting. We got the level reflecting in the metal vase. So we got reflections on the vase as well. So just another new collectible. PLP says, is this the same character controller? It's not. I completely rewrote it. If you can look at this. So basically now the character is faster. You can move. He runs faster than he did before. He walks faster than he did before. He turns faster than he did before. And you have complete aerial movement. So like you can see, if you want to take away a jump, you just take away the jump. It's basically completely responsive on however you're pointing your controller. So you can move all around. That was the biggest problem with PitterPot, is like you got stuck in aerial movement, and you would have to like go forward, and like you could barely turn. So now basically you have free reign, and he can run around and do whatever you want. And you can see I'm flying the camera all around. This might make you guys dizzy. I'm flying it all around on the go. So everything is completely just it's a million times better. I talk about this all in the devlog, but I also changed the attack. So the attack animation is a little bit faster. It stays for like a little bit longer, and you can do it more frequently. You see, like there's only like a split second to where you can't attack. So you can't just like spam it forever. Like you still need to time your attacks, but it's much faster. So everything responds faster. It's like everything moves better to your movement in this game. So that's better as well. And then, since we're on the autumn level, you can see these mushrooms. This is like something new as well. There's all sorts of new things that go with the character controller, not just him being better. So like when you jump on these mushrooms, you go into like a super jump. And actually, if you want to watch this, there's like a particle effect of dust that comes out of the mushroom, and the mushroom actually does like this bounce animation, and you would never even see it if you didn't even look at it, because you launch up so high. But I've actually coded these mushrooms to where they all have different amount of strength values. So they don't always launch you that high. So I'll show you a little bit farther in the level. You could see the mushroom, I guess. So yeah, you can see how all these particles they bounce off the world. They have world collision now. They can bounce off the fence and stuff like that. Yeah, just insane. So much stuff going on. And you can see we got this autumn vibe here. This was not in the original game. I kind of made the original grass like brown and stuff. And, there's like new world like art, basically. You can see how like I'm taking that stuff, the fog code from Tilting Tiles, basically. So there's like a ground of fog. We're like up in the sky. So like the bottom of the level is like cut off with that brown fog. But then you can see there's like just unending clouds. There's like a cloud layer above the fog layer. So we're like above the clouds basically, and there's like fog down on the earth below the clouds. And if you die if you jump down there or whatever. But so yeah, so there's like more going on in the environment, and you can see in the distance, we got fog off into the sky and stuff like that. So it's kind of blurring out the background or whatever. So we've changed out how the sky works, how the fog on the ground works and stuff like that. Just tons of different things. We still got these little guys, the pod enemies. I actually changed how they work as well. I changed the amount of how fast they shrink, so you get to see them shrinking off longer in the distance. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to get the time bonus. My quickest time to do 100% on this level is I don't know, 1 minute and 45 seconds, I think, is the fastest I can do this level. Another thing to mention, I guess we can just go ahead and talk about some of the character controller things. I'm sure some of you guys would be interested. This character controller is actually not just improved movement and, when you move and stuff, but it actually has coyote time now. So if you run off the ledge like that and you press the jump button, you can actually jump off of the ledge. One of the reasons why the original PitterPot felt so bad when you were playing PitterPot was because if you were like right here, you would just lose. Oh wow, I just glitched through the game. Yeah, well, we'll just restart that. Um, the That won't happen. That's just because the frame drops basically. Um, but anyways, the original PitterPot, like if you were right here on the edge of the level like that, like see how I walked off, but like see how I can kind of like stop and just stand right here. This would like trigger the aerial controls in the original PitterPot game, and you would no longer be able to jump like that, and you would just like you would lose the ability to turn the character and you would just fall off the cliff. So like when you had these like simple jumps like jumping here, this was extremely dangerous to do in the first game. You had to really line it up and be very careful. And like now you could kind of like walk over there, you can walk across this little moving thing and then like just jump back, and if you kind of like walk off you can jump back on, and it's so much safer. It's basically so much more accessible for everyone to be able to pick up this game and be able to play the levels, like the main levels and stuff, and not have any trouble or whatever. So just so many things that I didn't know how to do. Basically, when the first PitterPot came out, I learned how to code and basically make this game a whole lot better over the years. And then another thing is like this jump animation. This jump animation was actually incorrect on the original PitterPot, and you could get locked in the jump animation, and you see how he's like falling like this. If you're falling, this is the end of the jump animation. I'm gonna actually make a falling animation. I just haven't done it yet. So like you could jump and you could like get it stuck to where you would like just continually jump in that animation and it wouldn't play. So now I fixed that, and like he does the initial jump where he like clicks his heels and moves his leg and moves his head forward. And so you do that basically every single time you jump. So that's fixed. Zeldude says, "Is there a jump buffer?" I don't know what that means. I don't know if you mean like the timeout. There is. Well, there is like a buffer. I mean, it's like if you walk off the edge, you have like half a second to jump. Basically, that's how it works. Like, see, that was too long and you fell. So if that's what you mean, then yes. If that's not what you mean, then I probably not. What else did I do to this to make it better? I did something else. Oh, the actual grounded ability. So like I changed the way that it checks to see if PitterPot is on the ground. So like, if you were standing on this little fence like this, you would not be able to jump basically in the first PitterPot game. Or like, see how you're like kind of like standing on the ledge and like you're not even really touching it, but you're kind of just like hanging off the collider. In the original game, you would just fall off and die. In this game, you can jump, obviously. So now you can like jump, and like let's say you were jumping and like you landed on this fence, and you could jump off the fence, or you can jump off the box, jump off, jump on the fence, jump off of it like this. There was this part in PitterPot 1 where you had to jump on these boxes and then get up to get some seeds, and it was extremely difficult to do because you could just not time where you wanted to land, and it's just so much better now. So yeah, that's kind of all I really have to say on that. Yeah, so he's overall most likely gonna feel much better to everybody who's playing the game, and you can kind of see he kind of like was about to miss that jump, and then it kind of pushed him back onto the thing. So there's a little pot over here. You can jump up and grab that. Barely made that. And you can see we got this little zone. So if you look at this like little design right here, also these are like new platforms like right here. These are not in the original game. These are new models that just fit in with the old style of models. But you can see like if you're trying to do your best time like you having to run between these like swinging vines and not get hit is going to be extremely challenging if you're trying to go as fast as possible. I'm going extremely slow, and you can see like right here is another example of small or shorter mushrooms that you don't jump as high. Let's see. It means if you press the jump button right before you touch the ground, it still registers the jump. I actually did have that in there, but it's like not working at this very moment. But I think I'm going to be able to get that back in there. There was something, I had that in the game originally, but there was something that I added to the code where it was like messing up um, something else, and I don't remember what it was. So I just have it commented out at the moment. But yeah, I will try to get that back in there before it comes out. And I'm still kind of tweaking the movement and stuff. But yeah, so you can see that those particle effects are still crazy in the game. There's another thing. I picked up a couple seed bombs so I can show you. I changed how the seed bombs work. You used to just press the circle button and he would just drop one out of his butt. And now you actually throw the seed bombs forward and see how they launch off into the air and then explode. I also made the seed bombs explode faster. They don't have as long of a wait time. And so yeah, overall, just much better. And you can see like this is just awesome. You got all these mushrooms here, and you bounce across all the mushrooms. And once you jump on a mushroom, you can see the mushroom that you jumped on. It will return to its animation at a different time than the other ones. So if you just jump across a bunch of different mushrooms like that, bouncy, bouncy, they'll just kind of they'll go back to their dancing animation in like different times. So it's just like the whole world just feels like so much more alive. And I don't even think I mentioned but the seeds are not the same as they were in the original PitterPot. They have a dancing animation. They dance kind of like Mario, and then they flip back and forth. So like everything is just so much more complicated in this game than it was originally. So yeah, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like to finish a level. So you can bounce off this thing, land over here, and this is the end. So this is actually pretty cool. This is coming from the original maze. I brought these like little flags over here because this is like a race, like the game is racing. So you got these little checkered finish flags, and they're just blowing in the wind, and they constantly just change how they're blowing, how the wind is blowing or whatever. And then you can see we did some work to the acorn. The acorn is actually different as well. So the acorn has a new texture, and it's kind of like purplish. It's kind of like sick because the story in this game is like, the acorns have been cursed. They're not going to grow the trees the right way. So PitterPot has to collect all the cursed acorns, get them out of the world. And at the end, you're going to be able to heal the acorns or whatever. So like it's not on a, like it used to be angled, so now it's sticking straight up and it rotates around, and then when you grab it, it goes off, shrinks into nothing, and then a finish animation plays, and we drop down into our score breakdown. And this is got a lot of stuff going on here. We got animating, bouncing, score breakdown. We have our little bonus and multipliers bouncing back and forth on an animation. We have our actual icons here for our multipliers bouncing and animating, and the total score is bouncing and animating. And if you guys look, it's very, very subtle, but the green background that I drew for this is actually animating as well. So nothing is like static here. And you can see what you do is you get a seed score, a time score, a level score, and then you get a multiplier. And your multiplier is based on how many items you collect and how much health you have, basically. And then that can give you your total score, and then that will go onto the leaderboard. Let's see. All right, we got some comments here. Let me get some water, and I'll answer all those. All right, guys. So Stefan Robert Games, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining in. He says, hey, just watched your update video. Sad to hear things aren't going well. Related to the game engine switch, I really recommend Godot. Coming from Unity, be very easy, and it'll take 2 months, and you'll love it. That was the case for him. A couple comments on Godot. Everyone tells me this, but really, like, I don't know how many times I'll have to tell people. I'm never switching to Godot because one, it's like they will never ever have a native built-in PlayStation porting capability because they're open source and PlayStation is closed source. And so there's a lot of discussion on the PlayStation developer forums, which you can only be a part of if you're a PlayStation developer. And there's a lot of people who are trying to figure out how to get Godot working for everyone else. And I'm part of that thread. And, I've looked into it. And basically, people are kind of like, I don't want to say it's not gatekeeping, but basically what people are doing is they're building the tools themselves and then they're charging people to use it. Companies are charging people to use it. And basically the prices they're charging are the exact same prices as Unity. So it's a couple $1,000s a year in order just to be able to port for PlayStation. So to have like no like real clear roadmap of where Godot is going, to not have actual like official PlayStation support, to have to pay the same amount for Unity, there's no point to switch. Basically, there would be no reason to ever switch to it. Um, yeah, it looks really cool. To be honest, like there's a lot of things I could do in the engine, but basically it would just be me making Steam games, and that's it. And PLP says, "What do we think of the newest Prime 4 trailer?" Uh, I think it doesn't look good, to be honest. And I think that there's problems with the game, and the game is not going to come out in a state that we all think it's going to come out. I don't think the game is ready. That's all I have to say on that. Um, Woo. We haven't even made any level changes, and I'm running out of time here. I was only able to, my time slot for streaming is actually going to be 11:15 to 12:15. Because my son is going to be getting home in just a second, and then I'm going to go play with him and stuff, and then I'll get back to work for my work day. So, yeah, I've only got like maybe 5 more minutes or so of the stream, so maybe I'll show you guys another level, and next Wednesday we'll work on a new level. I'm working on some new environments that were not even, so like this game has a bunch of art that is being reused from the original game. That's what helped us get started so fast. But you can see there's obviously a lot of new art and a lot of art that's been thrown away and a lot of things that have been changed and stuff. Maybe we should let's do stage 2. Let's do this one. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are being kept, being upgraded, being thrown away, being changed, but then there's also a bunch of levels that are brand new and stuff. Some new art. So like you were mentioning the comments, you're mentioning that game I was streaming 2 years ago, I was making some fresh art for that. Some of that's going to make it in, and there's some fresh art that I've been working on, models, textures and stuff for another world for this. That's going to make it in. So probably by next Wednesday or something like that, we will work on one of those levels, and I'll show you guys some of the new characters and stuff like that are in those worlds. And here's what I was mentioning about the seeds. See, they kind of go like, they I probably look stupid, but they kind of go like left and right, and then they do like a flippity flip. So it's like, they're like gonna kind of dance with the music and stuff. So everything is just so much more alive in this version of the game, and you can see, we got our little animations when you run over the plants and stuff. All that stuff is still in the game. Stephen Robert Game says, okay, you got a point, maybe follow the official company for that case. Yeah, I don't know. Like Steam, I want to get better on Steam. I want to grow my audience on Steam, but like I know that I can't leave the PlayStation, because if you guys would see like the sales breakdown, I'm like, I maybe sell like $2 or maybe $4 worth of games a week on Steam. That's not even going to buy me lunch for a single day. If that puts it in perspective on like how like important Steam is compared to PlayStation, and I'm, living a full-time income basically off just a PlayStation. It needs the Steam sales and the Patreon, and used to be Atari, but now I doubt they're going to pay me ever again, to be honest. All those things used to add up and, help the PlayStation get a little bit better. And I had Xbox income, but like basically the Xbox is so bad. I mean, it's so unbelievably bad that like, I don't know, I go months without selling any copies whatsoever on Xbox. Xbox is even worse than Steam and Atari VCS, which is kind of crazy. And I don't know if you guys saw, like, the prices of Xbox are going up again. So it's like if you want the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, it's like $300 more than it was originally, I think, something like that. It's like $800. So absolutely bonkers. So yeah, let's just run through this level real quick. So you can see here's a green level, like one of the original like garden looking levels. You kill these guys, run over here, grab these. We got our little vine pots. I actually just got hit. Going back and forth. Then you pop these guys, run over here. Grab some stuff over here. So like basically in this game, you can like have these moments like here where you can save time by like chucking a seed bomb to where they need to go. If you saw, I threw that over there. So like the way this is designed to based on speed is like you throw that, and like while it's gonna go on the timer to explode, you run over here and grab these seeds, and then you can jump down here and get this. So yeah, just all sorts of stuff. That's like the level design is very, very thought out for this, based on speed running. And we got these awesome wheels. I so love these wheels. I actually added some code. The original game only had wheels that could go in 2 different directions, and now I have them to where they can face basically anywhere, and these platforms will be done correctly. And you can see right here we have, jumping from wheel to wheel, and like you can speed run this so hard. Like you could see like how I jumped up to this one. You could just ride it all the way around like this if you were scared that you were gonna fall and die, and you could just wait till you got close to jump off, or you can just skip, and just run. And then you got these guys over here, pop those guys, grab your acorn, finish the level, boom. Let me just show you. I'm gonna focus. Like let's do maybe I'll just do this level. Well, no, let's go level 1. Let's go level 1, and I'll just run through it as fast as I can and be like, I can do this level in like 30 seconds to show you guys what you think of like the sprinting type of thing. So it's like this one, you bust through all these, you run and grab these as fast as possible, you run and grab this, you land here. Another thing is like I put all these in like a little arrow so you know where to go. Oh man, I missed. Well, I ruined the run. You can still get around here. But so you blow that up, you run across this little bridge. You can take a shortcut right here, jump over that, run, grab those. You can run and just drop this bomb through the air so it blows those up while you go get these. And then this is, some spoilers on your speedrun tactics. I'm sure you guys will come up with some better ones, but this is kind of how I get through the level. There's a shortcut you can take here if you want to jump up this, but it's kind of difficult to grab. So, you can just go off these or whatever. I don't think you can actually make this jump. Yeah, you can. You have to just hold the button long enough. And then you can run over here, toss that out, jump over here, grab these, knock all those flowers, run over here, grab all of those. And you can actually jump and make that skip if you jump at the very last second. If you don't, then you'll fall and you need to go this way. And then boom, there you go. Level done in 1 minute. My best score is like 36 seconds or something, and getting all of the items. My highest score so far on this level is like 2760 or something like that. So you can see that I just got 1900. That would be like a rank B, I think, something. Maybe, yeah, rank B, and then like 2000 to 2500 is rank A, and anything above 2500 is rank S. So yeah, that's how the scoring works. That's me running through real fast. PLP says, you do great on Switch if Nintendo wasn't preoccupied letting let's just call it H games and AI games flood the eShop. Yeah, to be honest, I've just been so distraught in trying to figure out what platforms where I should focus on. And I thought about it again. I was like, you know what? I like the Switch. So like maybe I'll try again. But then I just kind of gave up because like, dude, I don't know. I haven't talked to you in a little while. I don't know if you got the Switch too, but I don't think this Nintendo is the same Nintendo that we had in the Switch 1 generation, and definitely not the same Nintendo from the Wii U 3DS generation. And I kind of basically hate every game that they're releasing and everything that they're doing, to be honest. And like I'm probably not going to release. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think the Switch 2 is going to be even remotely successful as the Switch 1, I think it's going to have a slowdown. I honestly think that after Christmas, the Switch 2 is going to have another pricing. It will have its first price increase. I think they've been waiting on increasing the price because it's brand new and they need to get through the first holiday. But I think that they're going to go and release it. They're going to move it up to at least 500, maybe even 550 to match the PlayStation. And the games that they're releasing are kind of just busted, man. They're not as fun. They're literally not as fun as they used to be. Like I'm like I've been having this realization recently when I've been playing my PlayStation so much. And like, I can say the same thing about PlayStation because they don't have any first party games. They release like one a year. And like this year, like I don't care anything. I do not care one flying fart about Ghost of Yotei. So like this year is kind of bummed for me. But I mean, Death Stranding 2, I was excited about that, and I just got that. So it's like, okay, I got one game from PlayStation this year. But like last year, it's like, okay, they released Astrobot. And like to me, Astrobot is better than basically anything Nintendo's released in like the last 5 years, I can't think back. I'm like trying to think back to the Switch generation. And basically, like maybe 3 years into Switch 1, I hated every game that came out. Like, I do not like the Animal Crossing that they released. I don't like the second Fire Emblem. I don't like where Splatoon went. I don't like basically anything past, like, I hate Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm so tired of the open world Zelda. Um, like, they've lost. Zelda is like lost on me now. Like to me, the last Zeldas I liked. Zelda was like my childhood when it was Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. To me, like those are the three best, and like ever since then, it's like it's all just been not good, and people just act like it's the greatest thing in the world. It's just not even Zelda to me. Same thing with Mario. Like I don't really care about Mario Odyssey that much, but still, it was pretty good. The DK thing, PLP says DK was pretty good. I can't stand like voxel art. I can't stand the way the game looks. I don't think it looks good. And I personally don't think it looks fun. Like I would never buy the system for that. I was going to try to buy a Switch 2 just for Metroid Prime. But to be honest, Metroid Prime doesn't look good. After that trailer, I'm like, riding on the motorcycle is not Samus. Like that's not Metroid. That's not a Metroidvania anymore. You're just driving around like a beach, a big open beach that I could have made in Unity in 14 seconds. It does not look good. And like gameplay wise, it doesn't even look fun. It makes no sense. It feels like the game is like half baked and Nintendo's not even talking about it. They're just going to dump it out. I don't really know what to explain. I don't know how to explain it. It's very weird. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, Nintendo's kind of lost me on the games they're releasing. The price stuff is really been making everyone mad. The $80 for Mario Galaxy ports that were literally $20 on the Wii U, and they look better on the Wii U, and you can play them on the gamepad. So it's basically, you can play them on the gamepad or the TV. It's basically better than the Switch at this point. And kids these days, they just don't understand how good we had it back on the Wii U. It's just like, I don't get it. Their pricing is absolutely bonkers. I don't think people are going to buy it for the games that they have coming out. And I know of a lot of stuff that they're doing like behind the scenes. Like I just don't think it would be worth my dev time to even bother with the Switch. So it's just interesting. I've definitely got some love hate on that. And at this point, like I'm just playing my PlayStation personally, and I can tell you guys that PlayStation actually cares about indie games. And like I mentioned it in the video earlier, but I had a video call with PlayStation, with employees at PlayStation, and they know about my games. They've seen some of my YouTube videos, and they care about what people think about PlayStation, and if people are playing indie games on PlayStation, and they care about making it easier for people to release games on PlayStation. That's what we were, I can't really talk about what we're talking about, but they care about indie games. All of the discussion is NDA, obviously, so there's nothing I can tell you guys about it, but they care about indie games, and Nintendo does not care. They don't care about indie games whatsoever. I mean, they're not letting anyone apply for Switch 2. If you're an indie dev, they're only choosing you by hand. And for Switch 1, they're extremely biased. It's like Nintendo of America is really broken. I don't know who's working over there, but literally I won't say who, but a friend of mine a friend of the channel literally got denied like 5 times. I'm not even kidding. For Nintendo of America to release his game on Switch, he made a fake company and applied in Europe and said he lived in Europe, and they approved the exact same game that Nintendo of America denied 5 times. Then he switched his address and released the game, and it's on the Switch. Okay, like Nintendo of America is broken. I don't know who's working there, but there's no rhyme or reason on who they deny, why they deny you, and how to get your game on there. When, like our commenter said, PLP said, they're just letting all these AI slop games and basically these promiscuous games, I'll say that, so we're not saying anything that's going to be censored on the stream or whatever, on the shop, and they're absolutely denying regular people who are trying to make games and like just trying to get it to their audience. So I basically at this point, I'm only going to be focusing on PlayStation and Steam, and I have a whole video about this, but it's just going to be PlayStation and Steam, and some games are going to come to Steam if they're going to have a viable path to sell, and some games are going to be PlayStation exclusive, and that's basically all that I'm going to be doing going forward, and that's only if I can stay in business anyways. That's all that matters really. POP says let me make sure. I think the current console, Stephen Robert Games says the current console will have big problems in the next years. Console was always placed for a cheap game to get hardware, play 5 years. Yeah, and collecting. Yeah, no, you're right. The problem with Nintendo pricing so high is like, to me, I'm like, okay, I was actually thinking about this for a separate, just a thought of like, the family console is now the PlayStation and not the Switch, because like, there are family games and party games and things like coming out, for PlayStation. Like, there's this new Lego party game that comes out in a couple of days, and it's basically Mario Party, but it's like a Lego game, and like it's coming out on the Switch, it's coming out on the PlayStation. But like, okay, to get that game and to get 4 controllers to play it with your family on the Switch, they don't really sell those $450 Switches. They only have the Mario Kart bundles in stock, basically. So you're looking at $500 for the console, and the Switch Pro controllers are $90, I think, and Joy-Cons are $100. So to even buy the controllers and stuff, they cost more than a PS5 controller. You could spend $50 more on the PS5, get the same party games, get the same family games, spend less on the controllers, get 4 controllers for your kids and for your family, and just play your games on the PlayStation. It doesn't make sense. The PlayStation is like starting to position itself, and they're not doing this on purpose. I don't even think they're realizing this, but they could use it in their marketing. They have all these mature games that they're doing with their first parties that you can't get on PC. Some go to PC, some don't. And if they do, they take years. So it's like they've got these games that are coming out just for the PlayStation that, attract the mature audience. They have all these third-party games and all these kid games and stuff coming out on there as well. They should just be marketing it more as like, this is the system, like the PS3 marketing. It only does everything. This is the system that does everything, and you can play local multiplayer, and you can play online with your friends. You can play your hardcore games. You can play your family games. You can do whatever. And when you all add it up and you look at the disc price and stuff, the games are cheaper on PlayStation. They run better. They look better. And the controllers and everything are cheaper. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not really sure where Nintendo goes from here. Like, they're going to have a rough generation, and it's going to have to go back to like, the Wii U style, where it's like they're just going to be offering you all these games for $20 or whatever. Because the way the economy is running, it's so bad. People are hurting so much. You can't afford groceries. And now Nintendo's like, nah, you pay me $80 for a game that's literally 20 years old, and we didn't do anything to it. Like, I'm sorry. It's just like, I'm not for it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, for me personally, I don't have that much money. I'm just gonna buy, a game on PlayStation and be fine. PLP says, I've hated open world Zelda since Breath of the Wild, and they're doing it with 2D games too. It's tragic. Yeah, it's terrible. Artless Dev says the plot was lost 100%. Steven Roberts says, now they always talk about graphics and tech. Well, I don't care. I would play more games on a toaster. Yeah, no joke. Like, that's why I was making the other PitterPot spinoff that I'm making with Thomas that looks like Spyro. I would literally rather play PS1 games at this point. Like, I don't care about all these graphics. You know, I don't care how good it looks. It's cool. Death Stranding looks like super realistic and stuff. Like, if you want to do that for games, that's fine. But you need the games that look like Astrobot. You know, you need those games that are just cartoons and fun and whatever. So yeah, I don't know. You guys got me on a serious rant. I was supposed to end the stream earlier. PLP says, I've always hated Nintendo of America, and Artless says Cook. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with Nintendo of America. I've got some videos going. Like I said, I've got a bunch of videos that I'm going to try to work on to try to kind of. I feel bad because, like, not that, like, I say it in all these videos that this is just my opinion and stuff, but, you know, there are, like, a lot of developers who are following my channel and they want to make money in video games and stuff. And I get a bunch of messages from developers who are trying to make their indie dream work. And, you know, like I've said in my videos for years, make small games, do this, you know, release a bunch of games, release on PlayStation, do this, do that. And like a lot of my advice that I've given that has worked for me for years no longer works. And I'm going to kind of try to make these videos to, you know, kind of go into the reasons on why. But basically, it's going to be very difficult over the next couple of years for anyone to survive in the game industry. And until there's like that full market crash and everything goes back down in price and stuff like that, and the economy clears up, a lot of it is not going to be resolved. So, you know, doing the small games and dumping a ton of games onto the stores is not really going to work anymore, and most people don't have the budget to make a really big game. So like this game, I mentioned it in the devlog, that I was going to try to do $5 for this. I think actually this game is going to be $7.99. So it's like I'm going to try to move my games towards the between $5 and $10 price range, to where it's like they're not super expensive, but they're not super cheap anymore. And like, you know, there's a lot more work going on into them, and they're larger and they provide more replayability. And it's really all about the experience on whether you think the game is worth the price or whatever. But yeah, I just think overall, like, I'm going to shoot for that. And then this game, I'm going to do like, cause this is going to be like the TreeFall saver game or whatever. I'm gonna have like a TreeFall Tribe edition where it's like gonna have bundled in with like a ton of avatars, and that will be like $9.99, like the original PitterPot game. So it's like if you want all the new avatars and you want to basically just support the studio and like buy the bundle or whatever instead of like just the regular game, you know, it's gonna be like $10. It's kind of what we're looking forward for this game or whatever. And like the goal and the strategy going forward is like you're gonna have to sell X amount of copies at X amount of price, versus like selling smaller amount of units like 3 or 4 times a year on smaller price games. The final TreeFall PitterPot, yeah, pretty much that's what this is gonna be. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And like I said, I've got other games in the works. Like Tilting Tiles, the new Temple Trials is going to be really good. It's going to be bigger than the original game. It's got a ton of levels, and it's got like new features, and it's got multiplayer, and I'm going to do some of this other stuff with it. Maybe just like I have some other modes I've got planned that are going to add a little bit of replayability to the game and stuff. But we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll be surprised, and that'll be a sleeper hit. And the new Tilting Tiles will also do really well. Maybe the word search will do well. You know, everyone likes the word search games. We got a bunch of new levels, got new themes, got new music, you know, the whole shebang. It's going to come out in a couple of weeks now, I guess, and maybe that'll do all right. But basically, Tilting Tiles, PitterPot, and Maze, that's all I've got left in the tank. And I'm kind of going to be putting all the marketing effort onto this PitterPot. And we're going to try to, because I think people like really connect more with characters than they do, you know, puzzle games and stuff like that. So yeah, I made the jump. So we're going to like try to do the new characters and like the story and, you know, all this kind of stuff, like have people actually find PitterPot for the first time because people didn't really know about this guy. You know, it didn't really sell well back in the day. This was my first PlayStation game ever. It's one of my least selling games ever, basically. And now I'm gonna put all my hope in the new one or whatever. I think he has the most potential, basically. So I hope you guys are looking forward to this new PitterPot and this teaser on the first couple of levels. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, are you excited for the time-based format, the spinoff to where you're running for high scores? Do high scores excite you? Are you excited about trying to grab the high scores? What do you think about the new cursed acorns, that kind of thing? I think these animations are like super smooth, you know, all this stuff. Like I've been spending a lot of work making like the little details, like minute details, show up in this game to like just give it that extra little bit of game feel. You can't feel it obviously while you're not playing the game, but you know, vibration in the controllers and you know, PlayStation light bar usage and you know, other things like that to like really when you're playing the game kind of just give you that, you know, immersive feeling to where like you're in the world of PitterPot. It feels cartoonish, it feels alive, and we're just gonna be doing all this kind of stuff just to, I say we, like I still speak of TreeFall Studios like it's plural. I do have some guys that are on contract with me right now, but I'm making this game by myself, so it's being solo dev or whatever. um Steven says, just an add more fun characters so you have even more game options for the future. PitterPot Brothers Mansion, PitterCart, PitterPot. Yeah, no, I announced PitterCart years ago, and I would really like that game to come out, but we'll see. We'll see if the world can grab onto PitterPot and enjoy it and stuff. So this is the first very candid and just interesting live stream. Next Wednesday, I think we will. Would you guys are still in the chat, so you can leave your comments right here. I'll go ahead and ask you live. Would you rather work on a gondola? Because I'm gonna make a gondola, I think, for the ice level to where you can jump in them and ride them around. Or would you rather see me working on a vine roller coaster type of thing? Because there's kind of like new movement options I'm trying to add to like each of these levels. Kind of like this, you know, in the autumn level or whatever, the mushrooms are a brand new movement thing that affects PitterPot's movement. And like these spinning wooden platforms and the spinning wooden wheels, those were in the original game, but like I'm making new stuff for all these levels. And like the new pots and the new mushrooms, and I've got some ideas. I want to like have this vine animation where you kind of like almost vine surf. And since I don't want to spoil it too much because like there's a castle level in this planned out, and I'm gonna do basically, if this is gonna be my last game, there's a high possibility that this could be my last game that I ever make. So I basically, if any of my art is going to be remembered, if Eli and TreeFall Studios is going to be remembered, I want it to be things that I really like and that I find fun and I care about. So I'm gonna have this Spyro 2 reference. I'm literally gonna recreate a level from Spyro 2. I don't know if you guys have played Spyro the Dragon 2 and like have played that level where you ride the roller coaster, the trolley, and there's the penguin, not penguin, the pelican. It's a pelican. He's a pelican, and he says, having trouble with the trolley, eh? If you crash the trolley, and it's like this big meme in the Spyro community. I'm making a PitterPot level exactly the same. Well, a new track, obviously, but I'm gonna make it like resemble Spyro as close as I can. And when you die, it's gonna say having trouble with the dolly, eh? I'm gonna have voice acting in this game as well. Actually, I'm working on securing some voice actors. I'm basically doing everything that I can to make this game the biggest and best game that I've ever made, in case it's my final game possible. So yeah, we will. Looks like PLP says roller coaster sounds epic. Roller coaster sounds awesome. Prototype. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll do the. Maybe I'll work on the gondola this week then, because you know I'm gonna work on it every day until next Wednesday, and I'll be able to get a few more levels done. So I'll show you guys next week, Wednesday. The ice level with the gondolas that should be done, and we'll work on the vine because I'm either gonna do like vine sliding, kind of like Ratchet and Clank, or vine swinging, kind of like Donkey Kong. Originally, I was gonna go Ratchet and Clank, but I'm thinking more Donkey Kong now, where PitterPot like raises his arm up in the sky like this, and he grabs onto the vine, and you can jump from vine to vine. Um, Maybe I'll set that up and we can try to work on that on the live stream, and maybe talk through some code together, and you guys can see that. The new devlog, since I've already announced this via this live stream, and I can see I've got quite a bit of viewers that have come in and out, so a lot of people I'm sure have realized that there's a new PitterPot game coming. I will probably go ahead and just today's Wednesday, I'll probably release that first devlog on Friday. It's 30 minutes, and I get it if you guys don't want to watch it all, or whatever. A lot of this stuff was in that devlog, but I'll release that, and then next week we'll have devlog number 2, and then we can hang out and do more. I realized this whole time I didn't have where is my thing? Is this it? News banner. I never even ran the news banner the whole time. I'm sorry for the Patreons. I gotta change this as well. I've gotten a couple of these guys maybe dropped off the Patreon page, and then some guys joined. I got a couple new ones: Mr. Troy, Jamil Dabir, Joe Nana. Those are like 3 new ones. They get personal shout outs, so give them shout outs. And then I guess we'll just might as well do it. It's on the live stream. A shout out to Mandy, and who else is on there? Thomas Stewart, Space My Name, a couple, I think that's it. Shark and Minnow, all the OG guys. Shout outs to you guys for supporting TreeFall Studios on patreon.com. You can see some of the names running across the screen. If you guys want, you can check out the Patreon down below. I have been doing more posts recently, but I got some more coming up as well. Steven Robert says, I think Ratchet and Clank is better because it's more ridiculous. The vine riding, yeah, we'll see. I thought about that one, but I think that one might be harder for me to feasibly code in order to maybe switch vine, like jump from vine to vine. So I was thinking maybe like jumping, from like static vines to static vines, and having like seeds in the air, or like maybe where you can swing left and right, that kind of thing. And like maybe you have to dodge flying enemies. That's probably more feasibly realistic. We'll probably go with that. Swinging, and like you can swing left and right. But either way, we're going to try to make new movement mechanics and new things for this character controller. And like I said earlier, I fixed up the animations, but I got to do some new custom animations for this. So maybe we'll even do some character animation. You guys might find that interesting. We'll see. So this game is going to take the slot of I'm extending development on this game. I was gonna wrap it up and make it kind of short, but like I've changed my mind, and this game is I'm gonna make it. I'm adding scope creep basically. So this is probably gonna be releasing on November 21st. So you guys are gonna watch every Wednesday from now and November. Basically we're gonna be like blowing through the game. So like next Wednesday, hold me to it. Hopefully I can show you guys like 3 new levels that'll be wrapped up, and then we'll work on a new level on that Wednesday. And basically that's how it'll run every Wednesday through all of October, and devlogs all throughout October and stuff like that. And I will post on the Discord. If you guys aren't in the Discord, I'm sure everybody in here, I'm not sure if you guys all are, but if you're not, you can join down below. It's free and stuff, and all the TreeFall tribe members hang out in there. I will be posting the Steam page for Tilting Tiles when it comes up, when it's live. I'll be posting the word search page and the this page for PitterPot when I can get it live, so you guys can put it on the wish list and stuff. But I think I'll go ahead and wrap this stream up here because it's been a lot of fun, but I'm not really getting that much work done. So I'll just go ahead and get back into dev mode and get working on some of these levels. And hopefully you guys will have fun hanging out with me and checking them out next week. Hopefully I didn't say anything that too offensive to my Atari brethren and my Nintendo fans. Don't mean to hate on you guys. I just think Nintendo's changed a whole lot. And PlayStation is where it's at. If you don't have a PlayStation, you should probably get one. and you can add me on PlayStation, and we will play some video games. I'm actually thinking before I run into the stream, this the longest rambling stream ever. I was actually thinking of playing my games on PlayStation online live with you guys on Fridays. If you guys are interested, TreeFall Tribe members first, obviously. Patreon members first, obviously. Um, so there's a feature on the PlayStation where it's just like Steam, it's like family sharing, to where like I can stream my PlayStation and basically you guys can log into it and take over player 2. So any game that has local multiplayer, you can actually play online. Um, and I've never even tried it before, but I was thinking about seeing if you guys wanted to play, like Maze, Annihilation, the Perplexing Orb 2, um, stuff like that. If you guys want to play and go for versus modes, Journey of Special Average Balloon, that's what made me think about it. The new games I was just releasing with multiplayer. I'm thinking about doing a series where we play online together, and you guys try to beat me, especially in the versus modes. Like the Annihilation one, I think would be really fun because it's an endless versus mode, and you can keep sending enemies at each other until one person loses. So yeah, let me know if you guys think that is a fun style video that you guys would be interested in watching, and if you guys would be interested in playing against me online. You don't have to put your video on the internet. We can just do voice to keep you guys private. But if you're interested, let me know in the Discord. And that's one idea. And then another one is I've been asked twice recently if I would review other indie games, other developers' games. So I'm considering doing a series where, from my perspective as an average to intermediate game developer who's worked full time for a while, my perspective on my friends' games, do reviews for their games, give them video coverage, do my favorite indie games, and maybe other things like that. If you guys would be interested in me doing game reviews, kind of like how I was just ranting about Nintendo, let me know, and I will consider adding that to the channel as well, because I've been having a whole lot of trouble getting organic reach on Twitter. My Twitter is basically dead. I'm totally shadow banned, and the other sites I use, they don't really reach anyone. It's basically just my YouTube at this point. YouTube and Discord is the only way I can communicate with the fans and stuff. So I'm thinking about doing more YouTube stuff to keep it active or whatever. So there's a couple new ideas, but thanks guys for tuning in to this stream. Thanks you for listening to me ramble along forever. Stephen Robert does not have a PlayStation, but the sound idea sounds great. Sad, man. I wish you had a PlayStation. I'm even gonna, like, if you got a PS4, it even counts, because at this point I'm like, I would recommend people to buy a PS5 because I think it's totally worth it. But I'm like, if not, you can just go buy $100 PS4 from GameStop and get tons of modern games if you've only been a Nintendo fan or only on the PC or whatever. But that's a complete side note. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for joining in the stream. This was a whole lot of fun. Hope you guys think PitterPot Cursed Thicket looks pretty cool. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Jump on in the Discord if you're not there already. Alrighty, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.